and welcome to the Calm Mind Toolkit course taster. So I'm guessing you may have signed up for this free module because you'd like to have a calmer mind. Whether you're struggling with feelings of anxiety or stress or any emotions that can feel overwhelming, what you may have noticed is that things feel a bit out of balance, or you're unable to do the things that you'd like to do because these emotions and thoughts and sensations are getting in the way. So this module, we're going to cover the importance of building coping and resilience, the inevitable challenges and difficulties in life, and how that way we view these and respond to them makes all the difference, and what effective coping strategies are. Imagine life as a river. Sometimes it flows smoothly and peacefully, calm and blue. Sometimes it can be rough and rocky, filled with deep black cold water, unexpected turbulence, white water, other boats or obstacles crossing our path, getting in our way, making us unstable, vulnerable and scared. And you've been given a boat to sail down this river. You've not chosen it. You weren't given all the instructions of how it works, and you learn to sail as you move down the river. What does your boat need to function well? Well, it needs a compass, so it knows the direction it's heading. It needs an anchor to hold steady through storms and bad weather. It needs a captain in charge, looking after the boat and directing it. And it needs crew for support, a lifeboat in a crisis, and it needs lots of maintenance to make sure it's running smoothly. So let's look a bit more about our compass. This is all about what direction you're heading in life, really considering what your values are, what is important. We have so many social pressures where we are living to other expectations or shoulds. Or whether this has come from our upbringing, society, then it's a good time to revisit these values. Ensure that you're directing your boat based on your values and not on your other demands. If you don't have this compass, you can stay stuck or float aimlessly. The task sheet has an exercise to help you start exploring your values and prioritising what's most important to you, so you can start to recognise what's important and what to prioritise, so you can be more honest with yourself and others when you make decisions and make choices about what you do. And your anchor. So life is full of emotional storms, difficulties and pain. And all these feelings are normal and valid. These feelings can be helpful. They can be guides to telling you that you need something or you need to change something. But a lot of the time, if our feelings weren't validated or listened to or accepted, we can change the way we cope with feelings by avoiding or trying to fix and control a situation. But looking at feelings like emotional storms that come and go, and where our response can be to drop our anchor in those times of turbulence, not getting caught up in the storm, but to hold still until it passes, using our coping, resilience and compassion. A method for dropping anchor is by remembering ACE. A. Acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. Adopt the stance of a curious scientist, curiously observing what's going on in your inner world. C. Come back into your body. You aren't trying to turn away from, avoid, escape, or distract yourself from what is happening in your inner world. Push your feet hard into the floor. Slowly straighten up your back and spine. If you're sitting upright and forward in your chair. slowly press your fingertips together. Slowly stretch your arms or neck, shrug your shoulders, and slowly breathe. Engage in what you are doing. Get a sense of where you are and refocus your attention on the activity you are doing. So dropping anchor is for times when emotions and thoughts become overwhelming. When we notice that tendency to want to avoid or jump in with thinking and fixing and controlling. But sometimes emotional discomfort doesn't need that response. What will help us most in that moment is these steps of acknowledging, validating, soothing, and focusing in on our bodies in the here and now, allowing those thoughts and feelings to pass as we re-engage and refocus on what we're doing. Because we can control and focus and choose what we're doing in this very moment. So as the captain of your boat, what do you need? How do you keep yourself well? We can struggle with judgments and comparisons and self-criticism with lots of demands, and this can lead to burnout, where our needs might come last on the list. If we don't recognise this, or communicate this, or meet these needs, we may build up some more uncomfortable feelings of resentment and anger, and feeling stuck and out of control. So regularly notice when you're feeling discomfort, and when you're getting caught up in thoughts and feelings. Maybe your mind is telling you that you need some soothing and support. So meeting even those basic needs of nutrition and rest. Having meaningful activity that gives us a sense of purpose and fulfillment. Having security and shelter. So sit for a moment and ask yourself, what are you needing right now? So we also need a crew to keep well and calm. We may have a crew already, but think about what qualities that you need in your crew. For example, kindness, loyalty, respect, fun. Think about who's in your crew right now and whether these relationships are healthy and helpful. And we all need a lifeboat. There's always a lifeboat nearby if you need it. And it's useful to know who is in your lifeboat, whether it's a doctor, a helpline, a support group, a therapist. We all go through times of difficulty, needing to call upon our lifeboat. And sometimes it's just reassuring, knowing that there's one available to us when we need it. And maintenance. So to keep learning, growing and developing. This may be groups, courses, books, counselling, practicing skills. So surviving the storms. We can't always control the weather, but we can control how we respond to it. We can change habits and behaviours. We can respond differently to thoughts and feelings. There's no need to change the essence of who you are. But sometimes we need to acknowledge what we find difficult and taking responsibility for changing it. So as we sail down the river, we may veer off to one side, where we get constantly caught up in thoughts with the need to control through our actions. Or we might veer off to the other side of the river, where we need to avoid and withdraw, become isolated. Ideally, to remain well and calm, we can focus on trying to keep our boat in the middle of the river as much as possible. And we can do this through managing emotions, increasing our mindful attention, developing compassionate thinking, practicing balanced responses, using soothing techniques, and building awareness and utilisation of our internal resources. So in summary, you've been given a brain you haven't chosen. Life can be full of challenges, changes, and uncertainty. We don't automatically know how to cope in the most effective ways, especially if we haven't been taught or shown this. And this can lead to unhelpful coping habits, lack of confidence, the need for control, and self-criticism. We can change habits and build tools in calming, resilience, compassion, and effective coping. So use the task sheet to explore some of these ideas and see if you can start making a plan of how you might want to take those forward. So this taster module is completed, and I'm just going to talk about the Calm Mind Toolkit course if you're interested in pursuing this further. So there are 12 modules in the course, including personal goal setting. We talk about understanding your own experience, then the science of anxiety, understanding the brain and how anxiety works. Then the regulation of emotions, so how to achieve more emotional balance, noticing how our mind gets very conflicted. We then move on to learning and developing some tools of relaxation, mindfulness, grounding, and soothing. We'll talk about the power of our thoughts, as thoughts can be really tricky and powerful to ignore. Then we'll cover feelings and how our emotions can be really uncomfortable, leading us to coping in maybe more unhelpful ways. Then the important topic of self-compassion, to deal with self-critical thinking and how to build resilience and courage. Then facing fears, looking at taking small steps and knowing how we can build new pathways in our brain of new habits and actions. Then we'll consider any barriers that are stopping you from making the changes you want to make. Then we'll be summarising the course and taking some actions to make sure that the course provides you with ongoing support and tools so that as you finish the course, you can continue your journey to build your toolkit. So as you may have seen, the Calm Mind Toolkit website has access to the online course, a monthly newsletter, weekly podcasts, and you can also follow the Calm Mind Toolkit on Instagram. So thank you for listening to this taster module. I hope you found it interesting, just giving you a snippet really of concepts that you may want to explore further. Any questions, do get in touch. So I hope to hear from you soon.